Welcome to Sayless Projects. We believe in the power of shared stories to inspire action and possibility and to bring hope to people who need it most. Through storytelling and purposeful action, we promote mental health awareness and support efforts to prevent suicide. You'll hear from a wide range of guests, runners, creators, leaders, and everyday people, sharing what they have lived, what they have learned, and what helped them keep going. The truth is, none of this is meant to be carried alone. If you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or tired, you are not alone. This is the art of doing something about it. Welcome to the art of doing something about it. Right now we're interviewing people who are running the Speed Project for Sayless Projects, and I am excited today to have someone very special in my life, and that is Haley Renison. Glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
So let's just get started. Why are you saying less to take on the Speed Project other than feeling like you're obligated?
Yes, for reference, Vincent and I are partners in life and in Sayless Projects. Well, I say less because obviously I've been a part of Sayless since the beginning, Sayless Projects, and the last two projects that we did and the film and all of that. And so I've gotten to be a big part of that. And when this was kind of in the works and you were interviewing with, you kind of were like, I have an in for Speed Project, which has always been your goal. And what, like, honestly, the Dallas to Austin run was based on loosely. You're like, I got an in, and then you had the interview and then you got in. And I remember we were talking about it and you were like, hey, like, I want you to like run the whole thing and like coordinate everything. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And like a couple weeks went by, we sat on it and I was like, I got to run this thing. Like, I got to do it. So, I mean, I just said less because I've always been a runner. Mental health is so important to me, which I'm sure we'll get into. And I was like, yeah, I gotta say I did this project.
Yeah,
so I couldn't not do it.
Absolutely.
Couldn't just sit on the sidelines.
Yeah. And deal with me. So when it comes to running, like, kind of, let's go back to your running journey. When did you start running? How did you get into running?
Yeah.
Kind of tell that story.
It started with Park District Soccer in 4th grade. I was just playing on the weekends and realized I'm a very competitive person, and I realized I couldn't keep up with everybody. And it was really frustrating me. And so I asked my mom to take me on a run, and she did, and I could barely make it around the block. And so that also made me frustrated. So then I was like, well, I'm going to get better at this. And then she was like, you should do cross country. I did it as a kid or as a teenager. And so I did. And they bought me a $30 pair of clearance Nikes and said, you're going to at least finish the season. Then you never have to run again if you don't want to. Figured out I was pretty good at it. And so I ran cross country and track from 5th grade through college. So it's been quite a journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, I still have a relationship with running today. So I would say I'm a lifelong runner, doing it for a long time.
And because you've been running for so long, obviously running has been there through a lot of things that you've gone through as a person and as a human. How have you seen running help you with your mental health? What kind of role has running played in your life in that sense?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I feel like a lot of people probably have like, oh, it's helped me so much, and it has. To be like, I was very lately diagnosed with ADHD as a kid. I was just seen as like, I was the oldest sister and daughter. And I was like, oh, she just does a lot of stuff. She's really on it. And then I got older and they're like, oh, you have ADHD. That's why you got so much energy and you're doing so much. And obviously it presents a lot differently in women than men, which we're finding out with a lot of studies. Anyway, so I had all this energy. And so running was a great outlet for me, and it did help my brain a lot. But I suffered a really rough injury in my junior year of high school, which is when you're getting scouted for college. And that was really, really hard on me. And when running was taken away from me, I had I went into a very deep depression. But because this is kind of over, but because I was in the running community, I had a mentor I was working with at the time named Janet. Rest in peace. I love her so much. And she helped me kind of get help for my mental health first and foremost. And she also was like a big advocate for that, and a big advocate for like, you're more than just like you're more than just a runner, and kind of helped me as a young woman kind of find a balance between running and racing and also life. And so I feel like I've kind of been chasing that balance since then. And I feel like I'm in a much healthier place now. So while running was a great outlet for a long time, it also was a really tough place to be in mentally. And now I'm kind of like finding my way back to the joy that I originally, like the reason why I got back into it, if that all makes sense.
Absolutely. And because of all, you've really had to figure out who you are as someone outside of running. And
Yeah.
so that's my question, I guess, is who are you? Who are you outside of a runner? Who would you say you are?
That's a good question. When I was looking, kind of like trying to think of answers to some of these preliminary questions you sent out, I would say I'm I'm the oldest daughter. I feel like that's just kind of shaped me as a person, the oldest of four. And I am somebody who really, I don't know, I feel like you and I are really similar. Well, one of the reasons why we connected is that we're both very much like kind of a little bit impulsive. We just like to be like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, let's do it. And I kind of lived a lot of my life like that and like just kind of saying yes to different opportunities that have shaped me like who I am right now. I'm kind of rambling, but
no, that's good. What does say less mean to you? Because I have my definition and I have my why, but for you personally, why, like, what does say less mean to you?
Yeah. Well, I kind of alluded to, I did struggle with mental health when I was in high school and as a teenager. And I feel like I'd always kind of dealt with some, like a little bit of depression, even when I was like really young and I just didn't have like the words for it. And then eventually I did get diagnosed with depression and anxiety. It does run in my family. So mental health has always been in my, like mental illness and that kind of being has been around my life. That energy has been in my life since I was little. My great grandfather was a very abusive man and took it out on my grandma, who's one of my favorite people in the whole world. And growing up, she suffered major panic attacks. And so when we were little and she would come visit, like we never knew what would trigger her, but she would get these like really bad panic attacks. And I just remember like watching her, like hearing her experience them, and it was like really scary. And I kind of grew up and learned more about her story. And then I grew up and had friends that were dealing with mental health issues in high school, and just then started dealing with them on myself. And so kind of it's just really always been around my life. And then I've dealt with, friends that have taken their lives and suicide. And then when we met, when walked through, your dad's suicide with you. And so it's just kind of always been incredibly prevalent, sadly. And Say Less is just like when you started this project and I started working with you, I was like, oh my gosh, combining running and mental health is just like literally, I feel like my whole life. Like I'm a runner and mental health has just always been around. And so Say Less is just like, honestly, it's just great. Cause I'm just like, yes, let's tell stories, or let's advocate for mental health through storytelling and through running, like two things that are a huge part of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sorry. And then, yeah, go ahead.
You're good. Who are you running for
Yeah.
when it comes to Speed Project? What's your why that's rooting you into this?
Yeah. My why this time, so while there are a lot of people in my life that I could be running for and a lot of different avenues in my life that I could have, I think, chosen to advocate for or speak on, I am running for victims of domestic violence, specifically women who are victims of domestic violence. When I was in my early 20s, I got into a relationship with someone who I thought was my person and I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. And he ended up being an incredibly abusive partner, which was really devastating, and this was before the TikTok age where everyone's like breaking down, this is what this is and this is that. And so I kind of had to like figure out through my own research, like slowly come to terms with like what was happening in my life. I feel like I've laid out, I was a very independent person, very self-sufficient, very high achieving. And suddenly I was like finding myself like reduced down to like nothing. And I didn't know who I was. Like I didn't recognize myself anymore. I got into this relationship and we got married really young. So again, I thought it was very like, this is it. Like, this is love. And it was not. And it started out with verbal abuse, and then it ended up being and emotional abuse. And then it ended up, there was sexual and physical violence as well. And it took me a really long time to figure out and like put a name on like what was actually going on, because I was in denial for a really, really long time. And it actually took him me finding out he was like cheating on me for our entire marriage to finally be like, whoa, I need to get out of this. And I'm really grateful that I kind of snapped out of it when I did. Still took me 3 years, but some people never snap out of it ever and never make it out. And those are the people that I'm running for. The people that have made it out, the women that have made it out of those situations, and then the women that have not, which is a very high number, sadly.
Yeah. Thank you for being brave and taking a stand, because like suicide prevention, that's such a heavy and hard subject to talk about. And we definitely are going to talk more about that on this podcast in the future. But that is something that you're representing and running for, the Speed Project.
Mm-hmm.
With the Speed Project, what's one word that comes to mind for you?
Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking a lot about this one. I know I'm supposed to answer it in one word, but I have a few words.
Okay.
Well, my one word is, because I was thinking about, because the Speed Project has taken on a lot of meaning for me. It's come at a really cool time in my life where I feel like I'm at this like interim between my career and like what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I just turned 30. And so I'm like, oh, like you think when you're young that you're going to have everything figured out at this age, which is a total lie and so funny.
Yeah.
And I don't. And
welcome to the party.
Right. And I feel like you've been a great partner in helping me embrace that uncertainty and like that whimsy of like, it can be anything. And so the training for the Speed Project and like turning this new leaf and starting this year with this project in mind. I will also note that all the people on this team are incredibly talented runners and so fast and so amazing. And the other 3 women on this team are like, I like look up to them. Like they're like stars in my eyes because they're so fast. And I know I just am coming on to this team as the slowest person. And so to me, it was just so important that I like really finally take like responsibility for myself and my health and my wellness. And so I've been really, really working hard on like training and creating healthier habits. And I started doing 75 hard at the beginning of the year. So we're on like what, day 50 something we were talking about. And it's really helped me to like just create more balance. And I just feel like a new person already. And so I'm deeming my word for the Speed Project has been like my return. And I feel like it's like given me a lot more joy in the sport, a lot more joy in like 75 hard has been a lot about like, it's not about the end goal. Like it's about like making good habits. And so like, I feel like it's really prepping me mentally too for the Speed Project, because it's like the Speed Project is not about, I mean, yes, we're trying to get to Vegas, but I'm trying to like really enjoy the journey and embrace it. And so in growing up with depression, I feel like that just took so much joy out of my life, and I let it rob me of so many cool experiences where I was just like numb. And so I'm just like really excited to return back to like that almost like childlike joy of just like, I get to be doing this. I'm so excited to be here. And like, I get this opportunity that again, so many women that I'm running for like don't have, or like will never, my family like has never got, like my grandma like never got to do something like this. And so I'm like doing it for all these people and for myself. And I just feel like, yeah, I'm calling it the return almost.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. That's my first time hearing this. So cool.
I know, I didn't tell you.
Finding out live. What are you most nervous about?
Probably the same as everyone else. I'm really nervous. I'm a control freak, as you know, because I'm also the coordinator of all these projects. And so I'm trying to take on less of a mom role and more of a teammate role this time, because I'm like, we're all adults and everyone's going to pitch in together. So I'm not responsible for everybody, but I'm scared to get stuck in the dirt. I'm scared for one of our cars to get stuck. And I'm a little nervous to run at night alone. Or I know we have a plan, but I'm a little spooked by that.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. What are you most excited about?
like I said, I think I'm just really excited about the journey. Like my goal is to really be present, and it's like, it's going to hurt. We're going to have our game plan. It's not going to go according to plan. And that's the joy of it. And so I'm just really excited to do it.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. What do you hope, we get to Vegas, we've finished this 340-mile journey, and you're at the sign, and you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening. What is like the one thing that you hope someone takes away from watching you take on such a big task like this and finish it?
Um, one, I really hope that everyone's dealing with a lot, right? We all have so much going on in our lives,
Mhm.
especially right now. It's so easy to get caught up in the craziness, and it's so easy to be like bummed out by everything. And it makes sense, and rightfully so. But I think like we need to stop like robbing ourselves of like the joy of like, we still get to be here. I have a coworker who I love. She says this phrase, like, we get to be here. And so, it'll make me emotional just thinking about it. But I'm like, I get to be here. It's such a privilege. And so there was a time in my life where I didn't feel grateful for any of this. And I was going through some really bad stuff, like I've, alluded to. And so I think like if I could just give anybody, like, if they could take away one thing, it's like, if you can just get through it, just one more day, one more hour, one more sleep, it gets so much better. You could be planning a run with all your friends through the desert and your partner in life and your best friend who you love, and it just gets so much better. And
Yeah.
it can't give you a timeline as to when it will get better or what, but it does get a lot better. And so I hope that, they could take away that. Just gotta
Absolutely
keep going.
Well, I just want to let you know, as we wrap up, I'm so proud of you for really taking a stand for women and for people and for humans, and being brave enough to talk about a very difficult subject. And I'm proud of you for showing up and saying less. And I think in light of some of the things we've talked about, I just want to really press in on the fact that it's so important that people know that they can ask for help.
Yeah.
And there is help, and please don't feel bad for asking for help. And, a big reason why I'm doing this and why I have a team and why I'm doing this episode and this podcast is to just show pictures and visuals of people who were going through really difficult times and made it because they didn't give up and they kept going. And so you're a picture of that. And I hope you know that you're inspiring others. You're inspiring me. And every day I see you get up and do this for yourself, it makes me happy as your friend and as your partner. So if you'd like to see Haley finish along with the others and support, please make sure you follow us on Instagram, Sayless Projects, stay connected with us on YouTube, and most importantly, keep going.